Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. I'm Edward Carbazel for MMAnews.com. Please like and subscribe to the MMAnews.com video channel. We've got a lot of interviews up there. Cole Shelton got to speak with Vicente Luque after his most recent win. A bunch of stuff from James Lynch. And more to come. So if you like what we're putting out, and obviously these videos, if you like what we're putting out, please like and subscribe by clicking the notification bell and the like and subscribe link below. So this is Sunday submission number 5 for MMAnews.com. Lots happened this week with the Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series kicking off. So both coasts have been super busy this week with the I'm using a different mic too, so I'm having a hard time looking at my mic and then looking at the camera. I gotta get a better setup for this. I'm using you'll notice that there's a StreamYard logo. I just want to see if it improves the quality. So folks that are watching this, or the folks that have been watching this, leave your feedback in the comments below when this gets uploaded on the YouTube channel. I'm doing this through Twitch just for folks wondering. But anyway, I'm one of the contributors at MMAnews.com. You can follow me. My Twitter handle is right down there below. And so let's get into it. This week, like I said, East and West Coast has been super busy. So I'll try to take you through a lot of the news up at the website, the trending headlines. This is the website. If you haven't seen it, this is as of Sunday morning. So we're going to talk about all this stuff with the Bellator 243, obviously UFC on ESPN. I'm losing track of these numbers. Number 32. It's like, I guess the easiest way to remember is to remember the Lewis versus Olenek and remember the last names of the folks fighting. But a lot's happened this week. Like I said, the UFC's been back. They're going to be at the UFC Apex for a while. So we have to expect a lot of big fights coming out of there. The biggest one is obviously going to be the pay-per-view UFC 252 with Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic settling their score. They're both 1-1 against each other. So that's what we have to look forward to. Now, there's some news on here. Like this stuff here, that's Conor McGregor's personal business. Him and D. Devlin finally got engaged. That's not like fight news to me, but it's on there if you want to read about it. Good for him, though. Congratulations to Conor McGregor. Anyway, let me get back to my notes, that stuff that I would like to get through. Remove that. All right, so Dana White's Contender Series kicked off earlier this week. And Tuesday, they signed a few athletes. Dustin Jacoby, Uros Medic, I hope I'm saying that right, and Jordan Leavitt. Medic got the first-round TKO. It's weird with the Contender Series. First of all, I followed it a lot more deeply when it was on UFC Fight Pass, and this is my personal opinion. I'm going to put it out there because I say it enough on my own podcast, and I don't have ESPN Plus. I'm not a fan of ESPN Plus. I don't like how. I know it's business-wise, it's obviously been a great success for them. Lots of people signed up, especially with that triple play. You get the ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. But for me, it's and I'm sure you've read all this on social media and stuff, but it's another paywall to get through, and I'm not a fan of paywalls. We pay enough, for especially depending on where you live and stuff like that. But I'm not a fan of it, so I don't subscribe to ESPN Plus. So like last night's event, the Lewis Olenek, I watched the highlights, but that was an ESPN Plus exclusive. So it's going to be on again tonight, ESPN2 at 11:30 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday night. So, if that's when I'm going to be able to watch those fights in detail. Obviously, by now we already know the results. But anyway, get back to my point about Contender Series. It's a great platform because you get these unheard of, like Sugar Sean O'Malley came out of there. He fought in LFA, and then he came out of, he got his shot on Contender Series. Kevin Holland, who also won last night, Contender Series guy that Dana White didn't even really like that much in the beginning. So, because he said he talked too much. But these guys, it's a great platform for a fighter to really jumpstart their career. I would say in this day and age, maybe not 10 years ago or 15 years ago, but in this day and age, doing a Contender Series is probably better. To get a shot on the Contender Series is probably better for you than coming through the Ultimate Fighter. I think a lot of people have gotten tired of that platform, the whole reality TV platform, and folks would rather just see the fights. So that's what's great about Contender Series. So congratulations to those 3 fighters that got their contracts. You'll probably see a lot more of them in the coming days. So that was on Tuesday. And as we went through the week, obviously there was news. I'll bring this back up again with Ray Borg getting released. That happened earlier this week. The UFC released Ray Borg. I forget how many times he withdrew. The guy's got a lot of problems in his life that it looks like he just needs to deal with. So I'm going to go ahead and, hopefully maybe not. I know that's a way he made money and stuff like that. And, only he and his family knows what he's going through. Everyone knows he's put stuff. There's been GoFundMe's to help out the health issues he's had with his kids. So I'm not going to talk too much about that because that's his business. And, they probably did that more. I know people are going to give a lot of backlash and stuff like that, but that was probably more for his own, focus on just take care of stuff at home. It sucks because if that was his sole means of income, but anyway, that's his business. I'm not going to elaborate too much on it. Let's get to the actual business of events and fighting. So Bellator 243, two pretty prominent fight bubbles, both with the UFC Apex on the West Coast and Bellator using Mohegan Sun as their fight sphere for the East Coast. They had another event. There was a lot to pay attention to with it because if you look at Michael Chandler, I think he's 34 years old now, fought his last contract in Bellator and has made it really public that he wants to explore free agency. So I actually wrote a piece up at MMAnews.com where he talks about he's actually this piece right here. He's actually looked at a potential fight between him and Conor McGregor. That's the piece right there in the middle. I wrote that yesterday morning after the event because he did it. So he let that come out during the post-fight press conference because, of course, everyone wants to know what's next. Like he knows immediately after the fight. And even though it made some news, I have to say, it's funny how anyone from the featherweight to the welterweight class, no matter where you fight, Conor McGregor announced his retirement. You saw the other thing where he announced that he's got a wedding, he's got kids, his liquor business is making money. Does he really need to fight? Maybe he doesn't want to fight anymore. I know before pre-pandemic, we heard Conor McGregor was going to fight 3 times this year, and now, afterwards, Conor McGregor is a draw, right? So, if you can't sell tickets, he probably gets a piece of that too. I know he gets pay-per-view points or whatever their contracts say, but if he's such a draw, for fans coming in, and if you've ever been to I was at UFC 189, UFC 205, and the crowd. I mean, he brings Ireland to wherever he's at. So, you know, in a pandemic situation where there's no fans, maybe he doesn't feel the need to fight. Especially he looks like somebody that gets a lot of energy from fans. But the whole point I'm talking about this obviously is because of what Michael Chandler said. So, and he said it because somebody had to bring it up because of the weight class he's in, and I took a long way to get there, but that's pretty much what they asked him. And he actually I thought it was pretty cool how he gave a lot of respect to Conor McGregor, and how Jesus Christ, sorry, I should have muted my phone before I recorded this. Again, I'm just trying to do some experimentation here with quality. There, muted, no longer disturbed. Sorry about that. So back to my point. Somebody had to ask him about that because obviously Michael Chandler, you know, like Eddie Alvarez was a Bellator lightweight champion that got into the UFC and got the title. Coincidentally, lost it to Conor McGregor. So there is something there. There's a match there to be made. I don't know if that can be something that he can use when he starts entertaining suitors, because he did make mention of a negotiation period where you know, like Bellator can match or you know, because the whole thing of free agency is seeing what offers are out there, right? See who matches what, like who can match what offers and things of that nature. So, but anyway, so someone brought that up, and it looks like he's already broken down the fight in his head. I mean, he gave Conor McGregor a lot of respect for bringing all the fans that he brings into the sport. I mean, he did skyrocket. I remember John Kavanaugh one time said that McGregor, he's had other fighters tell him, you know, as much as they don't like McGregor, they feel like they owe him for, you know, because he raised his worth so much in the sport. His fighter pay has improved a lot in the sport, right? So that makes some sense too, because you know, I mean, if you look at fighter pay 15 years ago, I mean, UFC, well, we'll say 10 years ago, 15 years ago, because we'll say the UFC's been around 26 years, right? They're on the 26-year mark. So they just did all their 25-year anniversary stuff last year. So, you know, he gave him a lot of respect for being able to raise a lot of you know, financial, you know, more eyeballs on the sport, and obviously it's on ESPN now. And look at, I mean, just the fact that McGregor got engaged, his girlfriend made news. So for Chandler, he gave him a lot of respect, but he also seems to have analyzed McGregor enough as a fellow lightweight in the weight class in the overall sport, the 155-pound class, and he thinks he would do well in a fight against Conor McGregor. So you can read the article in full. The quotes and the video from Bellator PR is up on that page. So, and then another thing that happened, I want to say, obviously Mitrione took the loss. Who else? And then you know, Benson Henderson, that was only the second time he's been finished in his career. So, I mean, that's a hell of a statement to make when you're fighting the last fight on your contract. So it looks like the way things work is, you know, he can entertain other offers, and I guess he shares that with Bellator. And if Bellator can match or do better, he'll stick with them. Personally, Michael Chandler is like the face of Bellator. Bellator has had many faces, like Joe Warren. You look back at I like Liam McGeary's run as light heavyweight champ. You know, right now Ryan Bader's the double champ for heavyweight and light heavyweight, which they also announced. I think 244. Ryan Bader is going to defend his light heavyweight title against what's his name, Nemkov, the baby Fedor, which is I remember at the New York press conference. You can see that on MMAnews.com too, the week before the pandemic. But like he's one of Fedor's proteges, and he was like, he'd like to pay back Bader for finishing Fedor way back then. So, but anyway, you know, Chandler has probably been the longest face of Bellator. Held the title a couple of times. He's got fights to settle there too. He even made mention of the Pitbull brothers. Both wanted a piece of him. But like that trilogy with Eddie Alvarez, I think folks would want to see that over. Eddie Alvarez is at 1, and 1 seems to have the money to lure fighters over. So I know Eddie Alvarez is not what he was when he entered the UFC. But maybe they would still produce a fight of the night or another fight of the night. I mean, if you look at their first 2 fights from Bellator for the lightweight title, that would be something to watch. So I would imagine, I mean, you would get to see how much damage these guys have taken in their career once they lock horns, if they lock horns again. But I mean, the sport, it goes back to Chandler's comment about McGregor. The sport has grown so much. I think the fact that free agency now at Chandler's level and experience in mixed martial arts, it just means that there's been so much growth that the fact that he can entertain offers from 1 and the UFC. I mean, who else is really out there? I would say Professional Fighters League, but they've paused their whole season, and I have a feeling the fact not holding events, either they're getting more investors and saving money to do a strong 2021. But I mentioned it on the second Sunday submission that they're probably having trouble. I saw Malki Kawa tweeted that he's asked for the fighters he managed to be released from the PFL. So I don't know if they can come at Chandler with anything worth offering him, to have him come over there and then stay locked in for a season, which a season would be cool for someone like Chandler that with his wrestling background. Or you look at guys who come from wrestling, look at Lance Palmer, another one that asked for his release. But I mean, he's a 2-time 2018 and 2019 featherweight champion, I believe, for the PFL. I'm pretty sure it's a featherweight champion. 145 weight pound class. Weight class poundage. Sorry, my mind is wandering. But yeah, he 2 years in a row, and if you win the season, you get $1 million contract. So, I mean, Lance Palmer even said it's not about money. He'd like to leave for that. But the point I'm making for Michael Chandler to entertain offers, that would be one that I could see Chandler going to because of the format, but they have to run it for him to even consider it, because the guys like Lance Palmer, Michael Chandler, they have that competitive mindset. They can't be sitting around waiting for stuff to happen. They need to, guys like that, they need to compete. Like it's their life's blood. Most fighters are like that, but I mean, guys that come from wrestling in particular are super, like he said, I think Chandler said he wanted to fight at least one more time before the end of the year. We're already at August, we're already in August, so we're already past the halfway point of the year. So take some time off. So his next fight, whether it come like November, December, it might not be in Bellator. We might see him. I know the popular pick for him would be to fight in the UFC, and I think I'd like to see that too. They'd probably place him in the top 10 right away, or give him a top 10 opponent to get him in that lightweight mix, the 155-pound. But that would how awesome would that be to have him mixed in there with Khabib, Justin Gaethje, Tony Ferguson, all those guys at 155. I mean, he says he's the best he's ever felt, and that would certainly be. I mean, it's a murderer's row. That would certainly be the place to test it, right? So I don't know. I'm really looking forward to what happens there. Part of me, I mean, I like Bellator. I like especially they're super cool with media. They're not as what's a good PC way to say that they're not as messed up as the UFC is to media. MMA.com accountable for that, but they're definitely better about giving people access because they want the eyeballs on their product, so they're definitely better at it. But anyway, I would like him to stay there, but I also would like to see him how he does in the UFC. A lot of people would, so I know I'm not alone on that one. So now we go into before I leave the Bellator 243 event, one more thing that seemed to make a lot of news. Chris Lencioni versus AJ Agazarm. It was on the prelims, so if you didn't see that fight, you can catch it at on their YouTube channel, Bellator's YouTube channel. And I don't know if you saw the news earlier this week too. They've also they've got a channel, a Bellator MMA channel on Pluto TV, which is a free streaming service. It's pretty dope because they have a channel called Combat Go that just shows all MMA that I was already into. So if you haven't checked that out, definitely check them out, both out on Pluto TV, Pluto.tv. They have apps for both Android and iPhones. I would imagine they're going to replay the whole event there too. So anyway, on that prelim, it was a 3-round featherweight competition between Lencioni and Agazarm. They're both pretty. They've both come from the jiu-jitsu world, but if you looked at their records, Lencioni had more MMA experience than Agazarm. Agazarm is a second-degree black belt. If you follow competitive jiu-jitsu, then you know who he is. So their fight, they had some bad blood, some history that you can it's been all over. You can read about it all over on the internet, and there's stuff on Twitter going back and forth between them. But so the fight, Agazarm headbutted Lencioni, I think in the first round or the second round of that, and that made for a lot of controversy. And then the stuff that happened afterward, Lencioni won by unanimous decision, and Agazarm said he wants to appeal it because he thought there was other things going on. If you watch the broadcast, you can watch it on YouTube now. When Agazarm was leaving the cage, he gave Chael Sonnen the middle finger because if you don't know, Lencioni is a Portland-based fighter, ATT Portland. He's got his own gym, Sunshine Athletics out there, but anyone under ATT Portland is under their jiu-jitsu is under Fabiano Scherner, so that which includes Chael, Lencioni, Jake Smith that fought at the 242, a few other fighters that are under that that jiu-jitsu connection. So I guess he gave him the finger. There's some history also from Chael's submission underground that apparently they had. That made for the bad blood, but the referee tried to get them to shake hands after, and Agazarm, if you've watched competitive jiu-jitsu, he's done that before, though. He's done that in Polaris. I remember he did that in Polaris to Jake Shields after they had their match. So that whole sore loser thing, I don't know if that's going to bode well for him in his MMA career. And even Lencioni said, that's not going to make for a long career. He's obviously got a lot to evolve as far as being a complete fighter. Because I'm just a jiu-jitsu guy. Brazilian jiu-jitsu is a big part of fighting. It'll help you out, especially if you have to defend yourself. But when it comes to fighting, there's more to it, and it looks like it's nice when you can impose your martial art and mixed martial arts on your opponent, but there's more to it than I'm realizing I'm spending a lot of time on the Bellator event, but there's a lot that happened there. So anyway, I don't know if I know Mike Mazzulli's not going to really do anything. He just got a warning, but that was some controversy there at the Bellator 243. UFC in Vegas, obviously last night, lots happened. Again, I didn't watch the event because of the whole ESPN Plus thing I explained at the beginning of this, but I do know that obviously Chris Weidman is back on a winning streak, and as I'm in Jersey, but the connections between New York and New Jersey with that whole connection in martial arts, I'm really happy Weidman is back on a winning streak. He pulled off a decision, and then the main event with Derrick Lewis and Alexei Olenek. Looks like Derrick Lewis broke a record with most knockouts in UFC history. So I'm really glad that happened for him. I really do like that he seems to be taking his training and physical fitness more seriously, and it shows in that fight. He survived submissions from Olenek, which is pretty amazing. but it looks like Olenek is getting predictable if you can avoid the submission game with him, because Derrick Lewis during the post-fight press conference, he called himself the baddest blue belt in Texas or something like that. Which he obviously is focusing on his defense and not getting submitted. So I think Curtis Blades called him out, but he said he'd like to fight Curtis Blades, Francis Ngannou, or Alistair Overeem in the post-fight press conference. I don't see that being I don't see any of those options being bad. Those are all 3 future main events, especially with him breaking that record. It's almost like getting a little title of his own, to carry. Kind of like a BMF title for the heavyweights, but because the heavyweights, when you think heavyweights in combat sports, whether it be boxing, mixed martial arts, you think knockouts. So, and then if you didn't see his immediate post-fight, it's not in the cage anymore because of the whole COVID safety protocols. But if you didn't see his the first thing he said to Paul Felder about needing to go to the bathroom, that was pretty funny. I'm sure it's all over social media this morning. So by the time you watch this, you've probably already seen that. So Derrick Lewis, I mean, he's great for the sport. I mean, he seems to be focusing more on being better than he already was, which he wasn't too bad to begin with, but better cardio. And he said he wants to lose like 15, 20 pounds, which I need to do that myself. But I think he believes it'll make him more agile. And the better he feels and the better he moves, the better he'll train. And, ground fighters won't be – because we've seen him have some trouble on the ground. And he's a big dude, so he can muscle out of a lot of things. But obviously the thing about MMA is, it's about – and martial arts in general, it's about evolving and being better and being better than you were the day before or previously. So I like that Derrick Lewis is putting that out there. So congratulations to Derrick Lewis and Chris Weidman. One of the other highlights that I saw that I'm looking forward to watching the whole fight was Beneil Dariush's spinning back fist victory. That the thing about a spinning back fist, I mean, there's a lot of those in MMA. One fighter in particular in Bellator, Jesus, I forgot his name, the Russian fighter. He's Andrei Korokov's. This is what happens when you get in your 40s. Andrei Korokov's mentor. Jesus, his face is in my head. But anyway, he's guaranteed to throw one every round, and there's a reason for them, is because they do have. If you look at the sport, I would say there's probably. I mean, if some statistician was out there doing statistics over who does what, how successful spinning back fists are, I would say that the number is probably pretty high. And Beneil Dariush knocked out Dennis Holzman with that spinning back fist. Not only was it a complete fight ender, but if you watch it, the sound with these fanless events, the sound of the impact of that shot, whether it was fist form or what have you, it's all. There's a lot of momentum that builds up in that rotation, and I have to watch. When I see the replays enough, some slow motion stuff, I'll have to see if he threw it blind. When you throw a spinning technique blind, it's because you look, you're not looking before you spin. A lot of spinning techniques, you have to, usually if you go to any traditional martial arts school where these spinning back fist, spinning kicks, they'll teach you to, you rotate, but then you rotate your head first, put your eyes on your target, and then spin. A lot of times guys throw it blind, but the gamble seems to pay off. I have to watch the slow-mo or the replay of that again to know if that's the case for what's his name? Dariush, sorry. But yeah, that's pretty much one to watch. So again, if you missed it, it's on 11:30 p.m. Eastern tonight. I am done. My time is up here with this recording. So again, please like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. And I'm tapping out. I'll see you next week.